My group chose the topic of chicken and the production of chicken and eggs, the transportation of chicken and eggs, and the chain reaction that the production and transportation has on the environment. We chose this topic because I think we really don't understand like how much we basically run off of meat in this country. According to Vox.com, apparently Americans consume about 8 billion chicken per year, which is a lot of chicken. Not to mention how Chick-fil-A, fast food restaurants revolve just around that. Wingstop, Polar Tropical, even the MMC and BBC campus both have a Chick-fil-A on campus. And I feel like we eat this not knowing the effects it really has on the environment and the species in general. I feel like we should keep more of that in mind when eating it, and the transportation of it, and the transportation of eggs, and transportation of chicken, and the production. I mean, I know we've all heard the rumors of how chickens are pumped with GMOs so that they can produce more of them, and it makes sense as to why like we eat so many of them. How they have to keep up with the consumption for the produce. So I feel like this topic really kind of just highlights like poultry in general and the unsustainable practices that may be used for the production of that produce and the transportation ways for that.
We looked at several websites that had information about how eggs, chicken, and meat are transported, as well as how the production of chicken and egg affects the transportation of those things. On the website for Farming with Tyson Food, we found details about how chicken and eggs are transported and how they are made. It says that the young produce fertilized eggs that are sent to hatcheries. The chicks are sent to broiler farms soon after they hatch. There, farmers are hired to take care of chickens and raise them according to the company's rules. The broilers are caught and taken to processing plants when they reach the right weight for processing. These websites from the USDA Safety and Security Guidelines for the Transportation and Distribution of Meat, Poultry, and Egg Products talk about safety rules for transporting and distributing meat, poultry, eggs, and compounds. It says that vehicles used to move these things must be kept clean and free of any dirt, debris, smells, or other things that could make the food unsafe. As needed, they should be disinfected and the steps for cleaning and sanitizing them should be written down.
Does your home actively plan accommodations for each topic? I stay with my grandmother in Miami to go to school at FIU. There are about 20 people staying here. In my household, I don't believe that we plan accommodations as far as the production, transportation, and consumption of eggs and chicken. The amount of people living in this house is more than the average family. So the consumption of eggs and chicken is more than the average family would consume. When it comes to buying the eggs and chicken, they don't plan. It's more so, oh, I plan on making food today and I feel like making chicken, so I'm gonna make chicken. Or we ran out of eggs, so let's just buy 3 more boxes of eggs and put it in the fridge. And then when those eggs finish, they buy more. And when they run out of chicken and they need chicken to eat, they will just buy more. So I don't think we plan as far as, okay, I'm gonna buy a certain amount of eggs and a certain amount of chicken and only eat this amount because I want to be responsible and watch how much we consume. We just buy and eat. It would be harder to analyze exactly how much each person is consuming because of how big of a family that's living in this house.
Question 4, what could be feasibly done to live a more sustainable life? In respect to our topic, as you know, our topic is chicken and eggs, but more specifically the production, transportation, and consumption of said chicken and eggs. I believe that some ways that we can live more sustainable is first promoting organic farming practices, such as encouraging farming methods and raising chickens, like giving organic feed. As you know, many of the feed that is given to the chickens contain hormones, which can in return enlarge chickens, which will make the eggs appear larger, which is considered desirable to human. In return, because the hormones are artificial, it will create imbalances in our human body. Another way that we can live sustainable is trying to avoid pesticides and fertilizers. In addition to the feed that we are giving the chicken, they are also ingesting whatever is on the ground. So it is important to be accountable of what is going inside the ground in addition to what is going inside of the chicken/egg. Another thing that we can do is allow biodiversity in the farms. Anything that is secluded is going to be more susceptible to diseases, illnesses, and etc. So it is important that the chicken and eggs are in a more diverse farm with different animals that could be carrying different diseases, so that, as we know, natural selection, as our kids are being born, they are less susceptible to the diseases that are being carried by different ones, and they can be more or less contaminated by these diseases/illnesses. Another way that we can be helping live more sustainable is optimizing transportation routes and methods and reduce fuel consumption and emissions from the transportation of chicken and eggs. As we know, carbon emissions is one of the biggest problems in America or all around the world, and it is starting to show by climate change and the world rapidly heating up. So it is important that we try our best to optimize our transportation routes and get anything from local sources and use fuel efficient vehicles.
So question 5 is looking back at question 4, and my answer is that it would cost more for looking at the solution in question 4, because what we spend now on chicken isn't much as going into organic food. Organic requires a lot of different practices, and it takes a lot of money to convert into it. It would cost more for supplies and cost for labor and needing more people for the labor, because it relies on traditional tilling, planting, and harvesting methods. And organic farms have lower yields since the farms are much smaller and have smaller harvests. And on top of supplies, organic fertilizer and cleaner ingredients. With food products, they have a USDA organic certification. It tends to be more expensive, as it is higher quality with that certification, and is more expensive ingredients, so it's an expensive product. And when it comes to hormones, there's really nothing to worry about with hormones, nothing costs or anything, since it has been banned since like late 1950s with hormones. There's no hormones in chicken since the ban. And when it comes to transportation, it will be more expensive using non-emission vehicles, since they're electric, so they don't need any gasoline. On top, with more charging stations, there will be no zero emission, which is a good thing, yet we'll be needing more charging stations the more these vehicles are being used, so it costs more in the end.
So as far as me and my home are green, I currently live on campus, on the MMT campus, so is my dorm green? I would say me and my roommates are pretty green. We reuse things, if we get plastic bags, which we shouldn't, we get plastic bags at the grocery store, we use them for trash bags, if we're gonna not keep the water running when needed, we only use water when we need to. I personally use a better water filter, so I'm not constantly using water bottles. I have my Stanley, so I try to be green as possible. But in regards to our topic, I would not say I'm green. I feed into the consumption and produce of eating lots of eggs and eating lots of chicken. My main protein source is chicken. It's the fastest, it's the easiest, it's the cheapest. And in that sense, I'm not green. I don't take into consideration how much of it I'm eating or the production of it or what's going to my body, to be honest. I just know that it's there and it's cheap and it's good.
I don't think my house is green because there are always a lot of eggs in the fridge that we eat or bake with. There is also a lot of frozen chicken in the fridge that we use to make soup or other meals. They contain a lot of protein, and these products are very useful for us. And even if I stop buying or eating them, my family will still buy eggs and chicken. That's why I don't consider my house as green.
With question 6, do I consider myself green when in my house? When it comes to my college dorm, I do say that I am considered green, seeing as we don't have a kitchen to make chicken or eggs. But if I were to evaluate my house in Tampa, where I live outside of the college, I wouldn't consider myself green, as I believe that chicken and eggs is one of the main sources that we use as protein. Not only is it the most affordable source of produce, but it is also something that is very hard to substitute. We've tried different things like tofu. I've tried to go vegetarian, pescatarian, but nothing has given me the amount of protein. And as someone, or as my family, we are very athletically inclined, so it's very hard to adjust to different types of things.
Question 6. Is my household green to this topic about chicken and production and transportation? No, it is simply not. The amount of eggs we use in my house is a lot, going from just breakfast, eating the eggs as eggs, or using it for ingredients as food, for specifically baking. And when it comes to chicken, like the meat itself, we use it a lot in family recipes and a lot of family dishes. So my family eats it a lot, and it's crazy because I look in the freezer and we have a whole lot of meat in there, and the ratio from chicken to other meat, we have a lot of chicken rather than beef or pork or any other. And even if we were to cut out from our diet, it would be hard for my family to follow that. So we really can't, and we do enjoy it, so it would be hard. And since I do work out along with my sister, we use chicken as a main source of protein along with eggs, because eggs have a low calorie, high protein ratio, and it'll in general be hard to take away.
We're going on a trip.